Hi, this is Tim Fargo, and this is episode number 5 in the Social Media Success Series. Today, I'm going to walk you through setting up some posts where you're mentioning an influencer. Okay, so I'm going to go into a jukebox here so you can see these posts. But you'll get the general idea if you're using this. With some other platform. The idea is that you can mention someone that you want to get to know, or that you admire or whatever. And by putting a mention in, you're going to appear in their mention stream. So there's a couple ways of doing this. Because I post a lot of quotations and things like that, then typically a lot of the mentions I do are similar. You can also do blog posts, podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever it is. However you want to kind of pay homage to this other person that you maybe don't know but would like to get to know. This is a way to do it, right? So at the top one, at Leadership Freak, which is a guy named Dan Rockwell, guy who I really respect, writes some great leadership information and so on. So I have a quote here from him. John Maxwell, who's a fairly famous motivational and inspirational speaker. Bruce Von Horn, who's also a motivational, inspirational speaker and a friend of mine. So on and on. I have these people in here, and I'm going to set these up to post, and it's my way of just kind of saying thanks and having a relationship with these people. Now, the one thing I want to tell you when you go to set these up, okay, and that was your homework was to come up with these. And if you haven't done that, because the dog ate your homework or whatever, you might want to go ahead and jump in and do that now. Come up with your posts. The caution that I was going to give you is to make sure that you're only sending one or two of these in total per day, unless you have a very large number of them. And my point here is, yeah, it's great to mention the person and pay homage and pay respect and things like that. But what you don't want to do is become the person who's constantly in their mention stream, to the point where it becomes tedious for them. So there's a little bit of, towing that bit of a fine line between getting their attention but not going completely berserk. Um, so, and for what it's worth, there are times there's someone who shall remain nameless who I put into a mention like this, and they got very bent out of shape with me, overdoing it. And that happens. I don't personally understand why they would be upset about that, but that's their prerogative. I don't admire them anymore because I thought that was a really weird thing to be angry about. But if you want to have social media success, if you think everyone's going to love you, you are going to be really sadly mistaken. There are going to be times where you'll reach out to people and they don't respond. You try to build bridges and the other party's not interested. Things like that happen. But you know what? Just keep on moving. There's a zillion other people out there. There are people who are super friendly. I've met some awesome people in social media, and I've met some not so awesome people, and that just kind of goes with the territory. So I'm just prepping you. In addition to the kind of technical aspect of this, it's really important to know that not everyone's going to be friendly. Some people's success kind of goes to their head and then they think they can't deal with us little people or whatever it is, right? So don't let that bother you. Just move on to the next person, right? Just like the barber says, next. So that's what you need to do with these. And so again, I would suggest that you set them up to go out once a day. That's what I would do with these. And especially if I was using this jukebox with 20 records, or if I was using from a kind of a reservoir of 20 records. If you have more, then you could probably step it up somewhat. But try not to bombard people too much. Now, homework for next time. I've talked a little bit about hashtags, right? But let's take that to another level. So for episode 6, I want to devote that episode to nothing but hashtags and helping you understand hashtags and what they can do for you. sometimes they're like, people think they're just like this cute thing. They'll go, oh, and I'm going to have my own hashtag. There's not anything necessarily wrong with that, but and we'll get into that in the next episode. I mean, there's some great things you can do with hashtags, and there's some really bonehead things you can do with hashtags. So let's make sure you're on the positive side of that equation in episode 6. So that's your homework, is to look into hashtags that are used in the industry or area of social media that you're working in, right? So that you'll know where you're going to find like-minded people. And some of this is just searching Twitter. I mean, there's no magic formula to this. It's going out and finding out what's resonating, watching what's trending on Twitter, watching what's trending on Facebook. Hashtags not so important on LinkedIn, but still just the idea of I mean, between Twitter and Facebook, I mean, you're going to get plenty of mileage out of hashtags. So episode 6 is going to be the hashtag episode. I look forward to talking to you guys then. If you have any questions in the interim, you can reach me at tim@socialjukebox.com. Have an awesome day.